As you know by now, Kirby Smart and the Georgia Bulldogs signed the #1 recruiting class in the country for the 2024 class. And I think there are several guys on the roster who could possibly make a significant impact next season in year one. I'm going to talk all about that for you guys on offense, for you guys on defense. Of course, we've written all about this over on Dawg Post. You can sign up to our free newsletter. Free. It's free to sign up. That link is down below. Check out everything we have going on over the website. But definitely something that I want to talk about. Been asking, reaching out to sources, which freshmen are starting to make an impact, which could turn some heads in 2024. Now, the first guy that comes to mind for me on offense is Nate Frasier. Of course, they took 3 running backs in this class. You've got your speed demon, track star, Dwight Phillips Jr. You've got more of the bigger bowling ball type of back in Chauncey Bowens. But Nate Frasier is one of the top running backs across the country because he can do it all. About 5'10", about 200 pounds. So he's got some size on him, but he's shifty, man. He's got some wiggle. He's got some explosiveness to his game. Of course, I don't think he's going to lead the team in carries or yards or touchdowns, but I definitely think he's going to see the field. He can catch out of the backfield, make defenders miss in the open field, can take off any particular run for a long touchdown. This guy is a game changer. Trevor Etienne is probably going to be the #1. I think a healthy Branson Robinson is #2. Andrew Paul, Roderick Robinson also battling it out. So there are guys ahead of him, but he brings a little more elusiveness than the others might, especially the 3 bigger type of backs. But he can beat you with speed. He can beat you with power. It's going to be tough to keep that guy on the bench for very long. They went and got him out of California, won him over. They think the world of this young man, and I think he's got the skill set to be one of the next great Georgia running backs. So he's definitely a freshman running back to keep an eye on. Defensively, Ellis Robinson. Ellis Robinson, he's a top 5, top 3 player in the country. Long, athletic cornerback that has top 5 NFL draft written all over him one day. He is a true lockdown quarterback. Technique, fundamentals, quick hips, quick feet, natural cover skills. He breaks on the ball. He can cover those bigger, longer receivers, but can run with the explosive receivers. Checks every box. He checks every box at cornerback. He's a guy who is going to play early. I'm not saying he's going to win a starting job early on in the season, but he's someone who I think will play more and more throughout the season. And who knows, by the end of the 2014 season, they may need him to take on a bigger role. At that point, it's hard to call him a freshman if he's played 12, 13 games at that point. Or, maybe he sees the field earlier than that, a good amount. But we're going to see him next fall. He's too good. He's too talented. And he plays a position that the staff can identify early on. Okay, is this kid, can he make it? Can he play multi-years as a starter at cornerback for us? And we can put him on, the best receiver they're going against. Ellis Robinson is that type of guy. So I think he is going to play some next year. Maybe earn a starting spot down the road. It depends on the guys in front of him. If they don't go up and grab one of those jobs and hold him off, he's going to pass him. So he's definitely a guy to watch. Going back to offense, I don't think Ryan Puglisi is going to play much, the only quarterback that they signed in that class. Maybe in the blowout games, but how many blowout games are they going to have next year with a mostly kind of tough SEC schedule, a lot of road games? But he's behind Carson Beck, he's behind Gunnar Stockton. Maybe he plays in 2 or 3 games next year, but don't see much of him. At tight end, Jaden Rell could play. He could definitely play. He's a 6'3.5", 220-pound, basically wide receiver who's a good blocker and big enough to hold his own on the edge. He's a big kid, bigger than I thought as I've seen pictures and just heard about him, what he's doing. He's got some big, thick, powerful legs, but he's a pass catcher down the field. He is a weapon. Oscar's probably going to be the #1. Lawson Lucky, Pierce Sperlin, and then you've got Jaden Rell and Colton Heinrich, the other freshman. But I think Jaden Rell has the skill set, the talent, the athleticism, and the ability to block that'll get him on the field sooner than later. So those guys in front of him, Lawson Lucky, Pierce Sperlin, they're going to have to play hard and continue to work and develop. I think they will, but it's going to take them getting better to hold off a guy like Jaden Rell. Maybe we see him in a few games. Maybe he catches several passes. But I do think we're going to see him next year. Going back to defense, easy answer is Justin Williams, middle linebacker. I know Georgia's pretty set at linebacker right now. You've got Small Munden, the veteran, coming back for his 4th year. That #2 linebacker, I think, is still up for grabs. C.J. Allen, probably the guy in front of Raylan Wilson right now. But Troy Bowles, Maybe he stays at linebacker. Maybe he moves somewhere else, more of a star, extra defensive back, bigger defensive back who can also play some linebacker, get after the quarterback, depending on how he develops. But C.J. Allen's the thumper. Raylan Wilson is, again, a former 5-star, probably the fastest of the bunch. But Justin Williams, the incoming freshman, has possible future Butkus Award, stuff looking right at him. He's big, he's physical, he can run. He runs a 4.4, like 4.0 student. He's smart, he's intelligent, he understands the game, knows what his role is. And at 6'2.5", like 215, 220, running like a deer, tackling like a machine. He can rush the quarterback. He can run down the ball carrier trying to get to the perimeter. Again, big, physical, smart. Number 1 linebacker in the country for a reason. They went and got him out of Texas. I think he's going to push those guys in front of him, especially because 3 of them, C.J. Allen, Troy Bowles, and Raylan Wilson, they're just 1 year ahead of this kid. So I think talent could get him to see the field early, especially when those guys have to come off at some point. They do mix and match. Small Monday goes down, then you're definitely going to see a lot of Raylan Wilson and probably Justin Williams. So even if they all stay as healthy as possible, I still think Justin Williams is the guy who's going to see the field. Going back to offense, let's think a little bit, because I don't see it being one of the 6 offensive linemen they brought in. Those guys need to develop and kind of transform their bodies a little bit. I think several guys are a little heavier than the staff wants them to be, and they're not beating out these experienced veteran, offensive linemen on the roster already. So the offensive linemen they brought in, I think most of them are, they're going to have to sit, kind of be patient, develop, wait their turn a little bit. But when their name is called, I think all of them are more than capable of getting the job done. But I'm not sure how many we're going to see next year. I don't think Colton Heinrich is going to play a ton next year at tight end. Again, the running backs, I think they're going to be behind Nate Frasier. Nitro Tuggle could play some at wide receiver, but probably not. I made a video last week. They're going 7 deep at a receiver, probably above him. So I think most of the guys you might see a good bit are on defense, whether it's Chris Cole, another inside linebacker who's a new 5-star, right? If a guy or 2 goes down or he just continues to impress the staff, he's a middle linebacker who could be able to play some outside depending on the situation. I think they want to get heavier at outside linebacker. I think Michael Williams is going to play there a significant amount. Contavious Johnson is like 250 pounds, who I think is going to play that outside linebacker spot. Chris Jones is like 240. I think could play more outside, but Chris Cole is another inside linebacker who could maneuver his way onto the field if things were to happen, and he really continues to impress and develop. But Joseph Jonah-Ajonye is a 5 kind of technique who can play the 3, move inside, like 6'4", 275 pounds. Kind of a little bit a more raw kind of Michael Williams, but I think the ceiling is very high for him. He's got a high potential, high motor. Has only been playing football for a little bit, but he's a blank canvas. If Trey Scott and Coach Drebe and Glenn Schumann and Kirby Smart, all those guys working with him to become the player that they think he can be, he has the potential to be special. And they need some more impact guys, on the edge with their hand in the ground. Now they could, move Michael Williams to a position where he's standing up a little bit on the line of scrimmage, but I still think they need some heavy guys on the edge, that 5 technique who can move down inside. Something's in my mouth. I'm sorry. Let's keep rolling. So he's a freshman. I think could see the field a good bit. Maybe a guy like KJ Bolton. I haven't even said KJ Bolton yet. We're at the 9-minute mark. Just thinking about defenders. He's a safety with just, again, 5-star ability, 5-star speed, ball skills, natural athleticism. I would give him a shot at wide receiver. I've said that countless times now, covering this kid for years and years. I think he's that explosive, and he has that game-changing, type of way about him. Punt return, kick return. I've seen him take them back. I've seen him pick sixes. I've seen long touchdowns. I've seen screens for touchdowns. I've seen this kid do everything you could ask out of him on a high school field, and I think that's going to translate at safety. Hard-hitting defender who knows how to tackle with ball skills, who can cover a lot of ground in the back end, can help play along the line of scrimmage and get into the backfield, maybe attack the quarterback from a certain position. But he's got size, he's got speed, he's an athlete. has natural instincts at safety too, closes on the ball well, can get into those throwing lanes and break up a pass. He's very, very talented. Now they've got I think Janelle Aguero is a guy who could make a big, second year leap. He might be tough to keep off the field if he becomes the guy that the staff thought or, expect him to be. But KJ Bolton, again, too talented not to see the field at some point this season. All right, those are just a few guys. There could be more. We're going to talk about this, I'm sure, at another point. It's a long off season. Thanks for watching this video. Really appreciate it. Hope to see you over on the website.